Hello everyone, welcome back to our agriculture marketing concept in rural marketing subjects. The last class we have started discussing this topic, and we have discussed various topics in this concept of agricultural marketing, like the concept of agricultural marketing and the agricultural products versus manufactured products, the differences we have discussed, and the functions of agricultural marketing was discussed, and also various types of agricultural markets and other categories or classification of agricultural markets that are completed in the last class. Today we'll discuss about marketing system. In the present competitive environment for any kind of industry, not only for agricultural industry, for any kind of industry, marketing system has become very important. The agricultural marketing system in India is characterized by various different kind of markets, agencies, and channels. What are the objectives of this marketing system? A system for marketing. You know, a particular kind of system that what we are using for marketing these agricultural products. So, what are the objectives of a marketing system? Why a country like India should have this marketing system? So, there are two main objectives. First objective is to enable farmers to sell the products. Second objective is to make available all products to the consumers. Right? First objective is to enable the farmers to sell the products, and second objective is to enable the consumers to buy the products. That means make the products available to the consumers, and both are at reasonable prices. Right? These are the objectives of this marketing system: to enable the farmers to sell the products at a reasonable price, and to make available products to the consumers at a reasonable prices. In order to fulfill these objectives, it requires a good infrastructure for transport, storage, distribution, and also well functioning of market mechanisms. For all of these are necessary in order to fulfill the objectives of a marketing system. There are some terminal methods of sale. In the last class, we have discussed about various terminal markets, if you remember, and there are some terminal methods of sale. The first one is what you can see here is Hata system. This is also, this can be called as undercover. Undercover. Sometimes it is also called as undercover. Actually, as the name is suggesting, undercover is not good, right? So similarly, this is not a healthy marketing practice, but still it happens. But however, it is not suggestible. It is not the healthy practice. So how does it happen? What is the Hata system? We'll try to understand this system. So here what happens is the sellers who wants to sell the products that is the producer of the agricultural products, right? That is the farmer. Usually we call them here as copra, right? So copra marketers or copra makers, these copra makers will go to brokers. Copra makers or the farmers will go to the broker, any one broker, with the copra samples. He will carry the samples of the products. They are called as copra samples, right? So once this copra maker, he reaches or he approaches one broker with a sample, the copra sample, or this sample is called as sometimes onida. So with this sample of basket, the buyer or the broker, usually they determine this price of the product with the secret codes, right? So here what happens, when he reaches to the broker, this sample is moved to another broker and another broker and another broker, right? The same sample, once the copra maker, he has given the sample to the broker, and this broker moved the sample to various other brokers, and these all people together will fix a price. These all people will together fix a price for this product or produce, and then they reveal it to the buyer. They all, these are not the buyers, these are just the brokers, the middlemen between the buyer and seller. Seller is here is the copra maker, right? So these people fixes the price, and they reveal it to the buyer with some secret codes, as it should not reveal to the seller. Understood the concept? Buyer has given to the broker 1, broker 2, another broker. These all together will fix the price, and they go to the buyer. Oh, sorry, this is the seller here, right? They'll go to the buyer. This is the seller. Here we are calling it as copra maker, right? So, and these people reveal it to the buyer, and the price should not be visible to the seller. It should not be known to the seller, right? So that is why they reveal it to the buyer with some hidden codes, like usually with the fingers, and then the negotiated price between the brokers and the buyer will be revealed to the seller. Then he has to sell the product with the determined price, which is determined by the broker and these buyers. Usually this kind of system we can see in coconut oil merchants. So the copra merchant might not get the payment for copra immediately also. When the next lot is brought to the market, the merchant gets the amount that is due for the previous consignment. So he will not get the amount immediately also, this seller. So that is why this is not the healthy practice. This producer may lose the amount because of these intermediaries, right? So that is what the HATA system. Next is auction system. There are two kinds of auction system: open bidding system and a closed bidding system. Open bidding system, a bid is done openly, right? It's very clear. How does it happen? A produce bought to the sale by the farmer, right? Producer is bought to the seller, bought to the buyer by the seller or the farmer. Then it is inspected for the quality by those who would like to purchase it. And then, in the presence of the farmer, those people like agents or broker, whoever inspected the quality of the produce, will take the part in the auction. And usually they will speak loud, and they will announce their bids, and the best offer will be accepted by the farmer. Clear? Produce is bought and inspected by various brokers or agents, and then those people who have inspected and willing to buy the products, they'll involve in the auction, and then the best price, the highest bidder price will be accepted by the farmer. And still, see, if the best option, the best bid price is only 100 rupees, and the produce is worth of 1000 rupees, that means he loses 900 rupees, the farmer. So if he is not willing to sell the products, he may refuse this auction also, right? Because he consider it as low. So this is the best way of selling the products by the farmers, right? Open bidding system. And the next is closed bidding system. In this method, the produce is bought to the market, usually in different lot sizes, right? For example, if paddy in bags with each of 70 kgs, like that. So in different lots, lot 1, lot 2, lot 3, lot 4, like the different lots. So the intended buyers inspect the lots. They'll check the quality of the lots, and they record their bids in their tender slips. Then tender slips, it is not open bidding, so they will keep their bidding price in the tender slips, usually supplied by a market committee. And these tender slips are thrown into the sealed box. Then usually the best price, because no one knows like how much the competitors, the other parties have bid for this produce, the best bid price will be accepted after checking all the sealed tender slips. This is the secret bidding. This is the closed bidding. For example, sometimes if there is a tie between the two buyers' bid price, then what will happen? Then the one who deposited first will be declared as the winner. That is why the dates and signatures and everything is very important in the tender slips, even with time, right? So this is the closed bidding system. Usually this tender box is opened, and announcing the highest quotation on the public address system is done by the market secretary or market superintendent. So actually this is the best process. Thus the process takes less time than the open bid system. and ensures a fair price to the farmer also. And another one is private agreement. In this method, the farmer enters into the sales transaction without the influence of intermediaries. Usually, tobacco and cotton, usually they sold in this method. The advantage of this system is the farmer gets the final price without deduction of commission or middleman, because directly there is a private agreement between the farmer, that is the seller, and buyer. There is an agreement, there are no brokers or agents involved in this, so that the brokerage charges, the commissions will not be lost by the farmer. But the problem in this is the buyer may exploit the innocent farmer by the overweighing, manipulation of accounts, deductions, or maybe because the farmer is not aware of many things. So the innocent father may be cheated by this buyer because he is consulting only one buyer, and every time he may go to sell the products to the same buyer. So he may commit to overweighing or manipulation of accounts. He can do many number of things, so that the customer may lose, the farmer may lose here, right? And the buyer sometimes he may delay the payments to the farmer also. Such kind of problems are there, but however, commissions or agency commissions or brokerage charges will be the benefit to the farmer. Next is sale by sample. It is simple. The sale transaction is made by showing samples to the buyer. The buyer and seller negotiate the price based on the grade of the sample. Many number of buyers may actually negotiate the price, and finally the best buyer, that means the buyer who gives the best price, may be accepted by this seller, right? Usually he will show the sample to the various buyers, and buyer 1 he offer 90 rupees, and buyer 2 he offer 85, buyer 3 he offers 95. So of course this buyer 3 is, because the same sample is shown to all the people, so buyer 3 he may accept this, the farmer may accept this, and he may sell the products to buyer 3. And another one is dara sales. Here a flat price is offered to the heap of agricultural produce without grading the contents. Same fixed price, however, whatever the samples quality, no need of checking all these things. The fixed price will be determined by the seller or the buyer. For example, now government fixed the paddy price as 1835. So all the different kinds of paddy are also bought with the same price, 1800 rupees 35. And jalap sale, the buyer purchases the standing crop of the farmer well in advance of the harvest at the price fixed on the date of bargaining. The buyer may pay an advance of amount of 50% of the value of the sales transaction to the farmer. It is very risky to the buyer and seller also, because the buyer is accepting and taking the half amount as advance, but later on the price of the commodity may increase or decrease. But however, the agreement is done and advance is also paid to the seller. So before harvesting the product itself, he is paid with an advance, so he has to sell the product to the same buyer. And last one is Mogham sale. This is entered into when the farmer requires credit to carry out farming. The cultivator borrows from traders and agrees to sell the produce to them at a set date. Maybe immediately after harvesting, I'll sell it to you, but as of now, I need some amount from you. Like such kind of borrowing is done in this kind of sale. The agreement is oral and is based on mutual trust. The price paid will be the one prevailing in the market on the date of delivery. Price will be like on whatever the delivery time it will be fixed, but I will sell it to you only. So you please give me some kind of advance, or I need some amount as advance. Right, price will be fixed at the time of selling, because the price may be changed from now to the date of delivery. So that is the way of sale here, and usually the same cotton can be sold in this way of sale. So these are the terminal methods of sale, and apart from this, actually there are some regulated regulated markets are also there. Regulated markets, regulated, right? Many state governments and union territories have enacted legislation such as the Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee Act to ensure efficient regulation of agricultural produce markets. In our state of Telangana also, there is a Agricultural Marketing Committee Act, and there are some regulations imposed by the government which should be followed by these marketing committees. And usually elections will be also be done to the marketing committees to elect the directors and marketing committee chairman. Those people will follow the guidelines from the government and enable the buying and selling of the produce. So this is regulated markets. There are few marketing agencies, right? So who are the marketing agencies involved in this? Whatever the market, whatever the type of market sale, but usually there will be few agencies involving in this. Who are they? Landlords. As the name implies, landlords are the big cultivators. Big cultivators. Usually the people who have a large number of lands, they what they will do is they will buy the surplus produce from small farmers, and along with their produced commodities or produce, they will also sell the other bought produce in the nearby mandis. Clear? These people will also have some commodities, and apart from these things, they will also buy the commodities from other small farmers, and all these together they will take it to mandis and they will sell it there. That is the process of landlords. And village beopars. So these are usually these people have a setup shop in the villages, and they sell the consumption goods. These people purchase produce from the farmers and may act as financiers to the farmers also sometimes, usually to the poor farmers. Right? You understood? These people will have a retail store in the village. These people will buy the products from various small farmers. Even sometimes they'll give some finance to these farmers and they buy these products from them, and they'll sell it in the nearby markets. So this is village beopars. And Next one is mobile biopanels. These people are like mobile, the name itself is giving. They do not have shops in any village. They move from village to another village and purchase goods or commodities from the farmers of all the villages, and they transport it to the nearby markets. The only difference between these two is these people will have a setup and shop in the one village, in a village, and they buy it from the village people. These people, they move from village to village and buy the products, and again they will sell it to the in the nearby markets. Commission agents. The name itself is giving commission agents. So these are the people who buys the agricultural produce and makes the payment on behalf of his principal trader. Between the trader and the producer, that is farmer, they will be their commission agent. Here they will be. So these people will buy the products from the farmer on behalf of this trader. He keeps the goods in his custody and delivers it to the trader in due course. He charges the commission for all this process. Yeah, he buys the product and he keeps it with him, and he sends the product to the commission agent. Usually we can see number of such kind of commission agents in the villages. And the last kind of agency is mandi level agency. Here again there are three kinds of agents. Kacha Arhetians actually, and Pakka Arhetians will also be there, and Dalas. First, let us discuss about Kacha. Kacha and Pakka. Kacha house and Pakka house. You know the difference, right? Okay. The commission agents, and they act for the sellers, including farmers. Sometimes these people provide to the farmers the money. These people provide money to the farmers on the condition that the produce will be sold to them only. I'll give you the required money like 10,000 rupees, but you should sell the product to me only. That is the condition, right? On this condition, the people will provide some money to the farmers, and they have limited financial resources, and his sphere of activity is purely local. His commission usually up to 2% of the value of the produce, right? So next about Pakka. So these are the wholesalers and big commission agents compared to Kacha or artisans. So they act on behalf of the traders as well as the farmers. They are the processors of rice, oil seeds, and dealers in cotton or jute industry, etc. They advance, they give advance money to the farmers and earn commission on the sale of produce as well as the advance given to the farmers. They also earn for this produce as well as they also earn on the commission that is given to the, and that means advance money which is given to the farmer, and they earn the commission on that also. And third kind of multi level agents are dalas. Just what they will do is they will link the buyers and sellers, they take the commission, that's it. They do not buy it, they do not provide any resource, any financial support, nothing. Usually they buy from the farmers, and they do not buy actually, they link up the farmers and the buyers, that's it. So these are the different kinds of marketing agencies and terminal methods of sale and what is a marketing system. These are the topics discussed today. I hope everything is clear. Thank you.